Everyone loses a deal from time to time. It is one of the most frustrating things. Sometimes it's stupid pricing errors, sometimes we make mistakes, sometimes we're not speaking to the right people. But whatever the situation, we've got to be able to learn from it. Very similar to the question, what are your weaknesses? There's no point saying, I've never lost a deal before, or I've never made a mistake. Everyone has, but more importantly, what have you learned from it? And in the next segment, I'm going to teach you how to answer this question.
So as I've already raised, it is horrible when you make a mistake or you lose a deal, especially early on in your career. You feel embarrassed. Maybe you get a bit of a telling off. I say sometimes it does happen, but again, we're all guilty of it. So what you're doing here is just listing out those times. And again, maybe it's just a lack of product knowledge at the time, as we've already discussed, not speaking to the right person, complacency. And then there's things that maybe are out of your control. So it could be COVID, could be maybe a merger or an acquisition. Somebody's come in and completely changed all the rules and decision makers, etc. So again, whole host of different reasons as to why people lose deals. And then the next step is just to concentrate. Once you've got your example, we then use CAR again. So where was I working? What was my role? What was the situation? All you're doing here is just painting the picture of what's actually happened. Next step, as you know, action. What did I actually do? So in this case, what did you learn from the experience? Maybe it's training. Maybe you took advice from an older, more experienced member of staff. And finally, the result. So what happened? And this is about how you feel. Maybe it's more confident. Maybe you've never made the mistake again. So again, this is kind of the happy ever after. And then we'll move on to the sample answer. So in this stage, all we're doing here is just detailing our response, which would sound something like this. Approximately 3 years ago, I was a junior account manager and I lost a deal through complacency. I've been given verbal agreement on the deal and assumed everything was moving ahead. But after 10 days, I received a call to say my contact had moved on and senior management had made a quick decision to use a competitor. So naturally, I was really disappointed. And after a couple of days of thinking about it, it was really important to prevent it from happening again. I've since introduced a series of robust questions. I now understand who all the decision makers are, and I never accept verbal confirmation. The result is I've learned from my mistake, and I believe I'm a better account manager because of it. And more importantly, it's never happened again. So again, guys, all this is demonstrating is a bit of self-awareness. You've learned from your mistakes, basically. You can apply the principles from this particular question to questions such as rejection or weaknesses. Again, all the panel are interested in is, okay, you've made that mistake. What have you learned from the situation? And let's just make sure that it doesn't happen again. So thanks for listening, and we'll move to the next video.